Greetings, this is Kal Kat the Kal Katster, and I have 85 review hits on my the Black Panther preview review that I did a couple of days ago, and one comment, or a commenter said you don't look like you're enjoying the movies, uh, something to that effect. Um, yeah, well, it's a character. Kal Kat is a character. He can't do like the cinema snob and be snotty because that's what he's done. He can't do hyperactive like Doug Walker over at the other show, Channel Awesome, because that would be ripping that off. And so he kind of does a pseudo kind of his own thing. He's not Kevin Smith either, obviously. So yeah, he's more like sometimes like some of the red letter media characters. We're not related. I'm not related to any of those other people. They are critics that get actual backing from somewhere to say the movie's great. All of those guys, even red letter media, get some sort of Patreon connections. So yeah, that. So we can't very well say that. This is just somebody's website basically. We stumbled upon the Kal Kat show website where basically, yeah, I'm an amateur actor critic with journalism and English degrees, and yeah, not getting paid to act in any sort of way. I just do it because I want to do it, and yeah. Anyway, so it's just the Marvel Cinematic Universe rather than. Earlier I had done an update of the Panther review, but it's kind of repeated the same stuff that was in this review. Yeah, so in a nutshell, this is not going to be that long. This is the spoiler review. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is ending toward the end of Phase 2, and maybe it's Phase 3 at this point. And yeah, Phase 3, and the Infinity War. So that's exciting. Yeah. No, it is. So it is. I can't show clips from the movies. Those other people can. I will get flagged. So I can't show you clips. So yeah, I've most recently got flagged for suggesting I was going to do clips of a preview of when Star Trek Discovery came out. The Paramount did not like that, and they sent out a bot. So that's why there aren't any clips on the show of the movies, because for some reason they're going after my channel and nobody else's. It's weird. It's kind of been like that since the beginning of this channel. I guess once you get on a list somewhere that says you played some music they didn't like, you're still on that list. Even years later, which was an unfair flagging back then, back in the day. So yeah, the Marvel Universe. It's yeah. What do you want me to do? You want me to be all excited and go like all the other guys have said already? How awesome! The Black Panther. It is an awesome movie, so it's what it is. You have your 3-act story. I understand that was a little confusing and that it was a pedestrian. I mentioned the word pedestrian, but they literally were walking around a lot. So, that's yeah. So. Also, yeah, the Marvel movies use the formula of the fantasy movie. They use the 4 ideas over and over again in some variation or another. This one used the villain that you didn't think was the villain as the villain trope. And then they threw in another one just to make it look a little different than a bunch of the other ones. Yeah, it was like there was a guy at the church, Nick, and I were discussing the movie that just came out. And he's familiar with the comic book. He He said that the heart-shaped flowers were that's something from the comic. The spiritual tripping thing could actually kill you if you're not worthy. It'll actually kill you. The sort of the other, yeah. So there's and the juxtaposition of the world being like fantastic looking CG blend of mainly green screen CG stuff, and there was some stuff that looked a little off, but they hit it well. So some of the people on the cliffs and things, and some of the action in the Korea set that clearly was the same set as the set for the other street down in the train station. They just did it differently with flooring and all that, just slightly altered. Yeah, they're filming a lot of these movies in green screen so that they can crank them out like every 8 months. They're in production for a year at least with each, but they're able to crank out like freaking like 18 of them in 10 years because it's Disney and Marvel and they have a lot of money. Yeah, so as we get toward I liked that he also Nick liked that they didn't introduce the Soul Stone in the movie, the one of the Infinity Stones, but they left that out. Also, that the idea of it being like the first black director being given carte blanche to do a adventure movie with a lot of African American culture, literally African culture, blending all of those together very interestingly. Even the people with the lips and the ornamentation and all that. Actors that you've heard of, Forrest Whitaker and whatnot, chewing scenery. I was mistaking him for Mark Bernard. He's bald and he's big. That's it. They don't even look alike. What? I totally was not intending that to be anything. I thought I just had a brain fart. I thought it was Mark Bernard, not Forrest Whitaker. Of course, it's Forrest Whitaker. What? But, okay. Of course it is. If anything, Mark Bernard is ripping off Forrest Whitaker. He's trying to look like him. So it's the other way around. Sort of like I saw a guy from the Trek Core thing at a store and then at a convention who looked like Kevin Smith. He said Kevin Smith? He's just dressed like him. Anyway, but yeah, there's so yeah, Black Panther is an excellent movie. The 2 or 3 haters that dropped it down to 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, well, they're haters. Also, there was controversy, which was silly, concerning, oh, it's just too black or something. Controversy, like alt-right trolls, basically. There was, if the alt-right trolls don't want to see it, they should just not see it. They quit complaining about it. It's a great movie. I'll likely see it again at some point. Not this week though. I don't think. There's other movies to go out and see. Also, we went to a store, spent a lot of money on the stuff. There was a store going out of business. The Rite Aid where we got some of our props is going out of business. But yeah, turns out half the props don't work that we got at the Rite Aid. But we did buy something, a piece of camera equipment that will be used on the Robotech thing. So there's something else going on over there in the other studio, but I can't tell you about it yet. Yeah, so because this is the Chimera camera. And, the new one is going to be slightly different and more updated. So we want to make sure this one stays around for hard to complete the Chimera, which is separate. But yeah, having a second one will be cool. So yeah. Yeah, so this review is kind of over the whole thing. I'm not involved in Disney and Marvel, so naturally I'm not going to, kiss their butt, about why aren't you kissing their butt? Oh, so to speak. No, it's not the yeah, so Marvel MCU kind of thing. Marvel's doing a better job than DC because Kevin Feige and those guys have wrote out a notes, cliff notes for the whole thing. A bit like how they did the Transformers stuff when they did all of the updates of Generation One, and they had a book that had all the notes in it. Big Transformer book. I've seen that book. That's really trippy. Yeah, we were on. Yeah, I got to see that. That was cool. Uh, and the fan parody, spoofy thing of it too. So back in the day, but yeah. So Bob. Anyway, I got to stare at it. Anyways, so um, but yeah. So yeah, I was not involved in the Disney Marvel stuff. So yeah, we're if we were actually, I keep saying this, if we were actually in that, we would get more views, just by default. But it's cool that we have 87 subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I like the Marvel movies better than the DC movies. And actually, looking back on the DC movies, there was this discussion, and we're like, actually, Green Lantern, although it was really terrible, and the first Hulk movie was really bad, the Ang Lee one. Even so, those were kind of the first ones to do it out of that particular genre. Although, looking back on the original, X-Men is Marvel too, apparently now that Fox merged. But yeah, the X-Men movies were technically first. But as you know, as fans know out there, and Blade was the first rated R Marvel movie, technically. Blade. That's right. Not Logan. Blade. Back in the 90s. Will Smith. No, not Will Smith. No, yeah. Yeah. Chewing scenery. Did I say, is that right? No. No. Wesley Snipes. Other guy. Again, I keep mixing the names up. It's not. I'm not racist or nothing. It's just that I keep getting the names mixed up. Yeah, I know they really don't look anything alike. But yeah, Wesley Snipes is Blade. Uh, yeah. So people were mistaking me for Star Trek people. So yeah, it's happened. They didn't look very close. I guess. Yeah. I was at a. I often would go to Vegas with my parents during the 2000s, late 90s and early 2000s, and we would go to the Star Trek experience, and I would be there so often, they thought I was an employee or an actor, and at least one or two times I was mistaken for an actor from Star Trek, at least one or two of them, which was funny, and they didn't ask, they just started to take pictures and whatever. It's like, well, that was peculiar. Oh, yeah. This guy must be famous. Take his picture. I was like, no, not back then. No, that was before the Kal Kat show. No. And then I figured it out when I went into the Quark Spar simulation, and they're all like, oh, they thought you looked like Robbie McNeil. And Robbie McNeil's up on the screen. I'm like, he's a little older than me, but yeah, I can see kind of a vague resemblance of I had, like, didn't have a lazy eye, and and was slightly older, and yeah, it was a little bit of a resemblance. But no, no, not Robbie McNeil. I'm not even related to McNeil. The Transformer guy was another guy. So yeah, yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe should be cool as we get to the end, and they have the Infinity Gauntlet, which is the glove with all the gems in it. They essentially paint themselves into a corner at that point because they can't really, they can't destroy all of them because that would be like, oh, destroy some of them. Yeah. And there's been wild speculation about who the next Iron Man would be, or I don't know either way. So I don't know. But and if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. So, but yeah. So far, Marvel studio-wise, we have not got any calls from Lucasfilm at all about Star Wars Episode 9, so we haven't heard anything about it yet. I don't think they're filming it yet. They're still working on the script. Nothing to do with that. jokingly said that one of my interluminaries is in Aquaman. Not really, not me. But we will see whether that guy is in Aquaman. When that comes out, that's a DC movie. Uh, he could have just been lying. He could have just been pulling. I'm in the Aquaman. Dude. Oh yeah, so Black Panther was fine. The acting was all very good. The fight scenes were great. The kung fu like scene was great. Where they were in the bar in the beginning. The nightclub, yeah, Korean nightclub. Also, the car chase scene was cool. I don't know why Red Letter Media didn't like that. I guess because it was dark. They couldn't tell. They kind of went over the train scene too. I've seen some of the other people's reviews, so I don't want to just retread over the same stuff. I saw most of. I was just watching the Kevin Smith one. I saw most of the other ones, but Kevin Smith is kind of a paid shill for Marvel and DC, so I don't know whether he can like it too. That's fine, but he's a director, so he can. That's different. Yeah. Yes, I did do some reviews of some of his movies, but that just means because I like them. That doesn't. I was a fan. I wasn't. I can't get you onto the Kevin Smith movies. But you will be the first to know out there whether if I ever got to be in any feature films again or stories or anything like that. Not saying it hasn't happened indirectly on occasion. There's been some of those fan-made things that were going on, or some of those other special preview things that were going on. I've been involved in and back to what was called creation conventions. Has nothing to do with creationism. It was a Star Trek thing. I was with those. That was fun back in the day. Yeah. So, yeah. So the martial arts school I used to train at, new people, and so there was. And don't have an IMDb page, obviously, but I'm not that no. But I was in. The character that I play is not really not overly excitable about stuff. If it was Silly Kelly, the other character that I play, he would be excitable. The cowboy would be, cowpoke would be kind of like laid back. I'm just laid back when it comes to these movies. I like them. And yes, they are following the formula. It's really obvious. It's a formula that they twisted the villain around, made it more like Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, but a good version of Simba's Pride. Yes, the movie's very good, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is on a good footing, and they haven't really done a bad movie. It's probably the Iron Man 2 was kind of weak a little bit. I didn't mind it, and Thor 2's kind of off. I didn't mind it though. They've been doing all right. I mean, Ant-Man was quirky and fun, and I think probably the most quirky one was Guardians of the Galaxy. 2 was not as quirky. I liked Thor Ragnarok, but we discussed that too at the comic shop, the coffee shop. How Hera, the goddess of death, didn't really act like a goddess of death as much. She would have been able to revive the guys without using the fire, the fire of life, because she's the goddess of death. But they had to do a visual thing for the movie. And some of the Panther stuff is different, I understand, from the comic book. But it's close enough that Kevin Smith loved it to death. And he was like, oh my God, it's the best ending ever. And his wife, Jennifer Swaback Smith, also liked it. Because it had a lot of women heroes in it fighting. I like that too, you see. But they could kick your ass. So. Just, exactly. You wouldn't mess with Wonder Woman. You wouldn't mess with Latumba. Either she'd kick your butt. So, I'm gonna butcher some names there. The good Panther and the bad Panther fight, the dynamic, the villain having this past that was linked to the father having kind of done something bad and basically murdered the uncle guy who was betraying him, but then leaving the kid in Oakland. Funny, messed up. A tragic backstory. It's kind of a Shakespearean tragic backstory, of which the Lion King movies are riffing from Shakespeare. So yeah, same idea. And those are classic stories. The classic story of family betrayal and redemption is a classic thing. Probably Shakespeare got it from biblical stories, actually, and other mythos, but mainly biblical stories. So in earlier stories, he used he was body though, so he changed things around. They in the end, Black Panther is it's one of the best Marvel movies, on a par with Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Not so much 2. 2 was okay. It was a little off toward the end. It was a little goofy. But I wasn't confused by the train sequence either. I got that. So the Stone Gremlins guys were complaining about that. It for what it was doing, it made sense. And of course the suit being nigh magical almost, having like properties that make it deflect and absorb energy, that's fine. They have a society built on a mountain that was created by the crashing of a make believe made up glowing rock, the vibranium asteroid from space. So yeah, it's fantasy. So it's fine. The world building was fantastic. The buildings, it's really cool. The ships were cool. They looked like one of those Zuni fetish. Shaped like a panther head, though, and they had like a, because they're the panther cult, flying around thing. There was, and I understand also that some of the haters had gone out and posted old pictures online on Reddit and stuff, and on the news, and they got it in the news too. Old pictures of people that looked beat up, and things of violence and attacks and stuff, and said, "Oh, I got rid of the Black Panther." No, they didn't. They were all fake. All those pictures online are fakes. So don't believe that stuff. That did not happen. Nobody is going ballistic, hostile over the Panther movie. No, that's not. They're confusing the movie with the 60s era party, the Black Panther party. They're still around, but no, they're not going to the movie and hurting people. They're not doing that. That's not happening. Maybe there's some bad guys somewhere, but that's not a news story. That's all fake news. So don't worry about it. Go and see the movie. Not exciting. See the rest of the Marvel movies. The Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out after that. So it's sort of very cool. It's a fantasy movie. It doesn't do anything political. There's no allegory of modern politics really in it, unless the Wakandans are reverse U.S. people. It'd be like confusing, but no, they're not really a parable of that. That wouldn't work. So no, they're not based on anything. So if anybody tells you no, it's based on the Trump, no, it isn't. It's nothing about that in there. Anyway, so yeah, that is my longer review in which I skirted around the review to say other things about how awesome it was, and other things. I also talked about that I'm not in Marvel Studios, so I don't really need to like over exaggerate whether I like the movie or not. Just say it. I don't need to do that. Maybe I'll make that guy a subscriber. But yeah, sure. Black Panther. Go see it in theaters. Yes, it has. They're probably confusing that with a protest group. The alt right is probably seeing that name and going, "Oh, like the protest group. It must be like Malcolm X or something, or yeah, or something." Which was later. It was earlier. No, same time period. Um, but no, it's like no. Malcolm X was an excellent movie though. If you want to go see that, that's one of the Spike Lee movies. It was really good. Yeah. Also, Kevin Smith mentioned "Do the Right Thing" was also a good movie. Spike Lee as well. I liked his. This wasn't this. It had nothing to do with the director. This is somebody else that directed the movie. I've just forgotten who it was, but it wasn't Spike Lee. Somebody else. Anyway, but yeah, I liked his other stuff. Do something on Katrina, the levees when the levees fell. That was good too. Miniseries. But it wasn't the same guy, so yeah, I'm not confusing names again. Anyway, so